Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and Chag Sameach, as we welcome the festival of Sukkot tonight and Shabbat. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom Aleichem. Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom Aleichem, Hevenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. Friends, there are many ways we open a Shabbat service, but that service is a welcome song. And why are we doing a welcome song? Because Sukkot is the festival of hospitality and gratitude. And we are given what I call the Sukkot challenge. I keep the sukkah up in my backyard for 8 days, so it's this challenge of finding something that's truly joyful every single day during that time. So I am so happy to welcome you to this service. This service, we will be meeting two very special guests. There is a custom for every night of Sukkot to welcome one of the Ushpizin. Ushpizin is an Aramaic word for guests. And tonight, we will have the opportunity of meeting Avraham and Sarah, Abraham and Sarah. So right now, let's welcome with Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el ha'echad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'Shem ol tiferet v'lichila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Ki mekor habracha, Merosh mekedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Now the last verse of Lecha Dodi, we stand and we face the door of our homes and we welcome the Sabbath bride. She's been waiting all week to get in, and we are so happy to open the door for her. Bo'ii v'shalom ateret ba'ala, Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, Toch emunei am segula, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Welcome, Sabbath Bride. We're glad you're here. When we think of Avraham Avinu, the first patriarch, we think of hospitality. Did you know that's probably what he is most famous for? But let me bring in Robin Ash, and she will interview Avraham Avinu. Robin? Avraham?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Avraham.
Good evening.
Why did you get up when you were resting to welcome the strangers?
I saw 3 men walking in the desert. They appeared to be thirsty and hungry and alone. They were strangers in a strange land, and I wanted to make them feel at home.
Why was that so important to you?
Because God asks us to treat our fellow man as if he were us. So I thought to myself, how would I like to be treated? I would like to be treated in a kind and generous way. So I reached out to these men and offered them food and offered them drink and a place to rest and a friendly ear to listen to their tale.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
The Baruch Hu is another song of welcome. It's like saying, I am the prayer leader, and I welcome you to this service. And so I call out the first line, and then you respond as a way of saying, yes, I'll take your hand. I'm ready to start the service with you. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Ma'ariv Aravim, our next prayer is about the changing of seasons and being open to welcome what comes with each new season. So we've just entered the month of October, and we welcome Sukkot. We welcome a whole bunch of birthdays. Oh my goodness, there's so many of you born in October. What a delight. We welcome school. We welcome getting into a new routine of learning and growing. Blessed are you, dear God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glides. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Praise to you, Adonai, our God. Baruch atah Adonai, HaMa'ariv Aravim. The next prayer, Shema, is also about welcome. It's recognizing that all things are part of one. So the trees outside and the sky and the birds and the grass, you and me, we're all part of the same one. We welcome all of it together when we do Shema. So join me. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. I want to take this moment to welcome all of you who were born in the month of October. So let me just say some of your names, and if I miss any, please know that I wish you a very, very happy birthday. Eliana Liederman Bray, Hannah Nelson, Robin Ash, Catherine Orange, Charlie Carl, Sue Miller, Eden Cohen, Robert Rosenberg, Mary Westover, Jamie Nitel, Sarah Schutzingle, Mary Pat, Nancy Latin, Sharon Gardner, Danielle Korotkin, Clara Shader-Sieve, Scott Parrish, Gabriel Tillman, Shayna Tinker-Ryan, Rena Rackett, Sophia Verano, Jacob Sullivan, Wendy Hubbs, Julie Polis, Paige Robbins, Phil Spielberg, Oscar Kurtz, Lisa Bertassini, Brian Furlong, Helen Byron, Andrew Gordon, Barbara Marquez, Michael Abulafia, Brenda Baskerville, Jonathan Halen, Jason Karotkin, William John Lawrence, Marty Burback, Shirley Rosenberg, and Sheila Sugarman. So for all of you October babies, and grown-ups, of course, we wish you a wonderful, wonderful year of health and happiness and peace. Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach. So happy birthday to you. The Micha Mocha prayer is about how we manage to get through difficult times, unexpected times. Sarah, our mother, was an important teacher of how we manage the unexpected. She was a very, very old woman when God told her that she would have a child. When she heard this, she didn't cry, she didn't faint. She actually laughed. And when she had her baby, she even named her child, He Will Laugh. Why would she do such a thing? Let's meet Mother Sarah. Robin?
Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. Mother Sarah?
Oh, Robin, it's so good to see you and all my children on Zoom. It makes my heart full.
Are you kvelling?
Yes, I am kvelling. I am.
So, we had a couple of questions for you.
Sure, my dear, sure. Speak loudly because I don't hear so well. I'm very, very, very old.
Can you tell me, why did you laugh when God told you were going to have a baby?
Well, that was just so ridiculous. I mean, really, I was probably 100 and something. I mean, a woman never really tells her age, but I was over the hill, and God said that I was going to have a baby. I've been wanting a baby for, if I told you how many years I'd been, you wouldn't believe it. So I found that ridiculous, and so I laughed.
Were you not worried that God thought you were laughing at him?
I didn't think about that. I was just had my own reaction, And laughter is a good way to manage life. For example, my son,
Yes.
do you know his name?
Yitzhak.
Yes.
Yitzhak.
My son's name is Yitzhak. Some of us call him Chuckles. Yeah, because it's just good to laugh.
Is that why you named your son? He will laugh?
Yes, it is why, because life has a lot of unexpected things, and sometimes very dark and difficult times. And if we can find one tiny thing to laugh, for example, my outfit is, is inexplicably funny. So I think that laughter is a message we must carry on a long time ago and today.
So we should live up to Isaac's name.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you. Sometimes it seems not exactly the right response to the unexpected to laugh. But there is a midrash I want to share with you about 4 rabbis that really had to think about laughter at a difficult time. The midrash relates that 4 rabbis, Rabbi Gamliel, Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah, Rabbi Joshua, and Rabbi Akiva, were walking in Jerusalem following the destruction of the Second Temple by the Romans. They arrived on the Temple Mount, and they saw a fox roaming on the site where the Holy of Holies once stood. The 3 rabbis cried, but Rabbi Akiva started laughing. They said to him, "Should we not weep when we see a fox roaming on such a sacred place?" Rabbi Akiva responded, "It is for this precise reason that I am laughing, because there was a prophecy of King Uriah that has come true, that the temple would be destroyed. But there is another prophecy of Zechariah that says one day the streets of Jerusalem will be filled with Jewish children playing and singing and whistling and having a wonderful time. And that time will come. And it is for that reason that I can laugh." We continue with Mi Chamocha. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha nehadav HaKodesh, Nora Tehilot Osef Ele, Nora Tehilot Osef Ele. Machutecha ra'u v'anecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze elianu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch, Adonai yimloch, le'olam va'ed. Friends, we will continue with Hashkivenu. It's a prayer that brings all the world together, welcomes all of us, that we should all of us be sheltered under the wings of God. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu, l'chaim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us daily wrong from right. Amen. 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 For our next prayer, the tefillah, we welcome Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel to come together to be honored by us so that we can learn from them. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei v'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagado Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Yava, Melech Chozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibur Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Metim Atah Rav Loshia, Morid Hatal, Mechakel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayei Metim B'Rachamim Rabim, Somach Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umidom Melach, Melech Memit Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atal HaChayot Metim, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye HaMetim. Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kedoshim B'chol Yom Yalu Chasela, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. Friends, I can't really believe that the year has already started. But it has, and we are at Sukkot. So it is our custom to shake the lulav. And let's talk for a minute about what this is. This is the palm frond, and it's supposed to represent our stature and our strong spine. The myrtle represents our mouth and how we smile and are kind with our words. The willow represents our eyes and how we see the world. And the etrog is our heart. The palm represents our back and our strength. The myrtle represents our eyes and how we look at the world with kindness and understanding and forgiveness. And the willow represents our mouth, the words that we say and the smiles that we give to one another. And the etrog represents the heart. So the very tippy top of the etrog is called the pitom. And if you don't have the pitom, it's not a kosher etrog, which reminds me of a story. Once upon a time, a long time ago, it was really on the Shabbat of Sukkot. And there was a family that did not have their etrog. Somehow they had gotten the lulav part, but not the etrog. And so a dad and his daughter went into the store that sold Jewish things, and there were just 2 etrogs left on the shelf. One of them was pretty big, and that etrog was pretty sure that it would be selected. I mean, it was a nice-looking etrog. It was round. It was big. And so it kind of puffed itself up as big as it could so it could be seen. And there's another little etrog in back of it, a small, not really very puffy, not very yellow, just kind of a little etrog. And the one in front of it got really big, cleared its little etrog throat, made itself as big as it could, take a deep breath, and hoped that it would be selected. And so the man who owned the store, he stepped up on the ladder, And he reached up to this etrog that was trying to make sure that it was the only etrog seen on the shelf. And as he got close, he reached up for it. And it slipped out of his hand. And it came tumbling on the ground, and the pitom broke off. And you need the pitom for the first night, for sure. Well, suddenly that little etrog that was sure it would never be selected realized that it might get to have a place to go for Sukkot. And the littlest etrog, it took up as much space as it could and made itself as big as it could and smiled like only an etrog can. And the little girl said, "Oh, but I love that one the most." And so this time, much more carefully, the storekeeper climbed the ladder, carefully got the littlest etrog, and gave it to the little girl. She was happy, the etrog was happy, and the pitom was attached. So let's talk about how we bless it. First we place it so that the pitom faces down, and after the blessing, it goes back up. So I say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat lulav. Our praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to take up the lulav. And so then we go 3 times, and you want to hear the sound, right? 3 times, right? And then you put your fingernail in it, and it smells like the Garden of Eden. So I wish all of you such a sweet, sweet holiday, one where you welcome, where you show gratitude. I want to tell you about my talit. This is my Sukkot talit. I made it with pomegranates because it's a seasonal fruit. So, Chag Sameach. Now, my friends, we turn to take our place of our joy and our delicious smells of this holiday, and we send our love to anyone who's in need of healing. So let's just take a moment to think about those folks that we're thinking of at this time. We send our love to Mason Forster and Niels Branston, Sheila Sugarman, Adrian Brown, Marion Blumberg, Monica Gershenson, Kay Knutson, Carl Saperstein, Benjamin Uden, Alexis Rosenberg Foreman, Murnaz Halimi, Millie Birch, James Burks, Mario Giacomoto, Kash Malik, Aaron Sabari, Marcia Cass, Kara Keeley Frampton, Marty Zimmerman, Wendy Phoenix, David Ash, and Morgan Phoenix. If there's anyone at home that you're praying for, please send them your love, that they get the care that they need, and that they're blessed with a refuah shlema, a complete healing. And together we say, Amen. We have some very fun things coming up, and so pay attention, okay? First of all, for all of you who came to our first ever drive-through sukkah, I hope you had a good time. I had a good time. And it's, this is really an opportunity for us to continue to innovate with our Jewish tradition and to find joy even though things are difficult. Tomorrow is Torah study at 9 a.m., and you know where to find the link. As you saw in your email today, we're going to have a special Sukkot community learning event on Thursday, October 8th. The event begins at 6 p.m. with family programming and continues with teachings from many, many of our rabbis in the community. Make sure to register. This will be the observance of Hoshana Rabbah, which is the special day between Sukkot and Simchat Torah, which brings us to Simchat Torah. Usually in this congregation, on Simchat Torah, we march with the Torahs, we make 7 hakafot, 7 circles, and then we open the whole Torah, and it's a very beautiful, beautiful ritual. Because we're not able to do that, we still want to get those 7 hakafot, those 7 circlings. So we're going to have a Torah-mobile, which means my car will have a Torah, and I will be coming to you on Sunday, October 11th. We'll be making 7 stops so that members of our community, wherever you live, will have the opportunity to come at a certain time, and we'll do 1 circling of the car with music and a little teaching, and that will count as 1, so that all together we'll have 7 circlings. I so look forward to trying this out with you, and thank you ahead of time for your welcoming of innovation. On October 17th, which is a Saturday, we are having a very special Musar Shabbat with Denny Deutsch Marshall, and that will begin at 9 a.m. It will be a Torah study and learning, but through a Musar lens. So I look forward to having you with us. And then one more, October 23rd for Parshat Noach. We will be inviting you and your 2-legged or 4-legged pets to come to the CBS at 5:30 for a special blessing for your animals, as well as a special Kaddish for our loved animals who have died. If you have pictures of your animals that you would like to see in a montage, please send Rick Snyder your animal pictures, and he will put it together. So thank you. At this point, we will turn to our closing prayers. Aleinu, followed by the Kaddish. So if you're able, please stand. Aleinu l'shabech l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרה בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו, וגובהי מרומים. כי אלוהינו אין עוד, מלכנו וזולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום, והשיבותה אל לבבך. כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחתנו, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Please be seated. On this Shabbat, we remember with much love those who have recently passed in our community, as well as the yahrzeits. We remember Alberto Arab Cohen, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Kathy Klein, Sandra Zales, Samuel Alberto Apasoa, Herb Glassman, Lori Malkin Zidell, Bella Berkovich, Brian Ginsburg, Rebecca Yabif Segura de Apasoa, Gerard Rosenberg, Stephen Henry McCoy, Raquel Bienvenida Yabif Segura, Phil Rosenberg, Warren Weinstock, Samuel Apasoa Segura, Robert Alexander Ginsburg, Carolyn Elder, William Rochford, Sharon Liebenhout Tajewski, Thomas Hammond. And we remember the names of those whose yahrzeits we observe at this Shabbat: Samuel Achenbaum, Velville Babitz, Lester Cortland, Lawrence Dushkin, Homer Freed, Jacob Hahn, Carl Kalman Kaloff, Roberta Lynn, Nat Lewis, Gunter Meyer, and Golda Meir. We stand as one community. We remember our 6 million. We remember all those who have lost their lives in these fires and hurricanes and disease of COVID. May their memories be for a blessing. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divrach v'kurutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevorach le'olam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yakol yoshvei tevel v'imru, amen. Please be seated. I hope you'll edit all those things. So I want to once again remind you of the themes of tonight's service. Ushpizin. Ushpizin are guests, and every night of Sukkot we welcome a spiritual guest, and the first night is Avraham and Sarah, and each night really there's a custom of being able to have friends over for dinner, and that's a difficult thing to do. So perhaps you can come up with a way of having a glass of wine or juice, or do some kind of a Zoom gathering in the spirit of the hospitality of this holiday. The words ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha. May God spread over us a sukkah of peace. Ufros aleinu. Ufros aleinu sukkah shlomecha. Try that with me. Ufros aleinu sukkah twice. Sukkah shlomecha yalai 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 la 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 yalai 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 la 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 la. Before we zoom off, I want to thank Rick Snyder for filming our service and for playing the supportive role of Avraham. And I want to thank Robin Ash for lighting candles and being the interviewer. And Sarah, our mother, was mighty happy to be here too. Yalai, 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 la 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 la, yalai, 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 la 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 la. Shabbat Shalom.